Hi, and thank you for joining me for this video. So today we're taking a closer look at the GeerTop two-person lightweight backpacking tent. Now, I purchased this tent here in the UK for £39 and 99 pence to be precise. Now, this is a 3-season tent, so ideal for the spring, the summer and the autumn. It just comes in the one color, which is this green. Now, everything you get comes in this really nice little storage bag. It's got 2 handles so you can carry it around. Now, it's not that big at all. You could strap this to a backpack or actually even just put it straight into your backpack. Now, when it comes to the size and weight of everything I look at, I never take the size and weights from online as gospel. I always like to measure and weigh things myself. Now, in saying that, when it comes to the size of this little storage bag, the length comes in at around 45 centimeters. Now, the width they claim comes in at around 18 centimeters, but actually it comes in at 14 centimeters. So that's even better. Now, when it comes to the packed weight, so this little storage bag with everything you get inside, the claimed weight is around 2.65 kilograms. However, when I weighed it, it came in at 2.35 kilograms. So even lighter than the advertised weight, which can only be a good thing. Right, let's get everything out this little storage bag and see what we get for our money. Now, when you've taken everything out of your storage bag, you will notice on the inside of your storage bag, you do have some instructions which are actually sewn to the storage bag, and basically it just tells you what you should have inside the storage bag, and then it gives you some instructions on how to pitch this tent correctly. Now, everything comes rolled up inside the tent, and then it's kept together with this really nice strap and buckle, which I really like, because normally you just get a little bit of cotton tied around, which inevitably I think we all lose. Now, this tent is an inner pitch first, so you get your inner tent, you then get your outer fly, you then get a couple of aluminium tent poles which come in their own 10 pole storage bag. You then get 4 guy lines, and then you get 11 aluminium ground pegs, which are the shepherd hook ground pegs, and then those all come in their own little ground peg storage bag as well. Now, I've laid everything out on a footprint. You don't get a footprint with this tent, but I will be pitching this tent using a footprint because I always like to protect the bottom of my tent with a footprint. When it comes to pitching this tent, first of all, connect your tent poles together, then lay out your tent. You can use a footprint if you want, like I am, but lay your tent out, then crisscross the tent poles over the center of your tent. Then what you want to do is get the ends of the tent poles and connect them to these little, well, put them in these little eyelets. When you've done that, you then go round and start clipping the inner tent to your tent poles. Right, that's the first part of the tent pitched. Now, I did have to tie a little bit of ribbon that's attached to the inner tent over the top of the poles, just to keep it nice and secure. But before I put the outer fly on this tent, let's take a closer look at the inner tent as well as the inside space. As you can see, lots of mesh on this tent, which makes it the perfect 3-season tent, ideal for using in the spring, the summer and the autumn, but definitely in the warmer times of the month, this tent is going to be at its best. Now, with all this mesh, it's going to give you maximum airflow. It's going to help reduce any condensation you might get. But most importantly, it's going to keep any insects out. What I like about this inner mesh tent is that if you're using this tent in the summer and you think one night there's definitely no chance of rain, you could just pitch this in a tent, sleep in this tent, looking up at the stars, knowing that the insects aren't going to get you, and staying nice and cool. So I really like that. Now this tent does have two doors. They are both D-shaped doors. We'll take a closer look at those in a minute. Now when it comes to the bathtub style floor, it's made from a 150 denier. It's tape sealed and it's 100% waterproof. But let's open up these doors now. Let's have a look inside and see what we think. So obviously when it comes to opening this tent, you can unzip both doors. They both can be rolled and toggled back. Now I've done the other door, so I'm just going to do this door now. I have to say, with the zips on this tent, they are nice and smooth. They definitely don't seem to stick or catch on the fabric at all, which is really nice. Nothing worse when you get a zip on a tent that keeps catching or snagging. The other thing I really like on this tent is that you've got two places to toggle the door back. On a lot of tents, they just give you one place to toggle the door back, and then what you find is the tent door at the bottom especially just tends to hang down and it sort of gets in the way. But when you've got the two toggles, you can toggle that door right back and have a nice big entrance, unrestricted in any way. Right, let's have a good look inside this tent. When it comes to the inner size of this tent, the length of the tent comes in at around 210 centimeters. The width comes in at 145 centimeters, which is pretty generous for a two-person tent. The height of this tent, internal height, comes in at 110 centimeters, which is great, especially if you're taller, and being able to sit up in your tent is always a benefit. Inside you also get a couple of storage pockets, one down that end, one down the other. You also get that all-important little lamp hook at the top, which we all love. The other thing which I really like with a tent that has two doors, especially when you're sharing with someone, you're not having to climb over each other to get in and out of the tent. So yeah, not a bad sized tent. As per usual, it'll be a palace for one, but perhaps just a little bit of a squeeze for two. Now I've shown you the inner tent with all the specs, etc. All that's left to do to finish pitching your tent is to put the outer fly over the top of your tent. You can then connect your outer fly to your tent, and then all that's left to do is to put in the ground pegs, the guy lines, and then you're all ready to go. I'm going to do that now, and then we can come back and chat a little bit more about this. So that's the outer fly attached to the inner tent. Now the outer fly is attached two ways. First of all, you do have some ties on the outer fly, which then tie to the inner tent poles. And then you also have this clip down the bottom. Part of the clip is attached to the outer fly, and part of the clip is attached to the actual inner tent. They clip together and then can be tightened up. So the outer fly is definitely not going to be going anywhere. And then obviously, just to ensure that your ground pegs are in securely and all your guy lines, and that's you pitched. Just taking a quick look at the roof, you do get a couple of air vents, which is going to let in a nice bit of air, which will help keep you cool, will help reduce any condensation. But also with all that mesh in there, it will stop any insects from getting in. Even if the insects fly through this little air vent, you do get these little supports on each side of the air vents, just to ensure they remain open at all times. Right, let's take a closer look at the outer fabric of this tent. Now, when it comes to this outer fabric of this tent, it is made from a 210 denier, which is an anti-tear Oxford fabric. It has a 2000 millimeter PU coating, and as I said earlier, all the seams on this tent are tape sealed, so it makes this tent completely waterproof. Right, let's take a close look at both of those doors, because although both the doors are exactly the same inside, soon as you put the outer fly on, those outer doors are slightly different. So let's take a closer look at those now. So firstly, on this side of the tent, this door here, well, this door here just simply has a zip right down the middle. It is covered with a storm flap, which also has some Velcro, just to ensure that if the wind gets up, this will be nice and secure. And then you then have the option of either unzipping this door and keeping one closed, and then rolling and toggling the other one back, which I'm going to do quickly now. And then, as I say, you can just leave that other door down, or perhaps you want to leave this door, my side, down and keep that door open, or quite simply, you can just roll and toggle both of the doors back. So it gives you a really nice, big, unrestricted entrance to get in and out of your tent. All right, just put that in there. There you go. So as I say, yeah, either on this side, keep one of your doors down, or you can have them both rolled and toggled back. Now, when it comes to this door is different. As you can see, you've got two zips instead of one. You've still got your storm flaps with Velcro on each side to keep it nice and secure. But you can do one of two things this side with this door. You can either undo both zips and then simply roll this outer fly up and toggle at the top, or you can undo your zips, take your trekking or your hiking poles, and then bring this outer fly out, connect them to your hiking or trekking poles, whatever you've got, or a couple of sticks if you can find, and you can create a nice little awning, which is what I'll do now, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what it looks like. So there you go. I just quickly set this awning up so it gives you an idea of what it's like. Now, don't forget, you can just roll the outer fly up and toggle it at the top of the tent, or as I say, you can use your hiking or trekking poles or find a couple of sticks and then just connect them to this outer fly, put a couple of guy lines on, and then you've got yourself a nice little awning. Just one quick thing to add before I give you my final thoughts on this tent. On the inside of the tent, you will notice it has this silver coating. Now, this is designed to block out the sun and also protect you from UV rays. So my final thoughts on this tent. Well, I think it's a cracking little tent for the money. For me, this tent is going to be best suited to perhaps someone that just wants to get into camping and see if they like camping before they invest more money, or someone who's just looking for a nice budget tent where they can go camping in the summer months. £39.99, I don't think it's bad money at all. There will be some people that say, well, I don't think it's very good, or I don't think it'll last. To be honest, I think when I watch a lot of videos online or see people camping, I think Not all, but some people make the mistake where they buy a budget tent and they expect too much from it. They'll take it up a mountain where there's a lot of wind, a lot of rain. The tent ends up failing and then they can't understand it. Or on the other side of things, I've seen someone in a Hillyberg tent in the heat of summer, 30 degrees, which is a complete overkill for what they need. So yeah, when buying a tent, I know it sounds obvious, but use it for what it's designed for. Yes, this tent is cheap and cheerful, but I've had a lot of cheap and cheerful tents in my time. I've had a lot of GeerTop products that have all been cheap and cheerful, but they've never let me down. So yeah, don't rule a budget tent out. And as I say, this little tent will perform at its best in the warmer times of the year. It's waterproof enough. Wind-wise, it doesn't give a gauge of what this little tent can stand up to. But in my experience, looking at the build quality, I think this tent could withstand 20, maybe 25 miles per hour of winds, which to be honest is more than most people that go camping will camp in. So yeah, this is a great little tent for the money. But listen, let me know what you think about this tent or budget tents in general. But the only other thing to mention is when I was showing you both the doors, when the doors come down, they do come out a bit and they will create a little bit of a vestibule both sides for you. Obviously this side, because it's double zipped and it comes out that little bit more and it's a bit wider, you will get a bit more space to perhaps store some stuff in or even do a little bit of cooking. You will get a little bit of space on the other side, but not a huge amount. The other thing to mention is before you put your ground pegs in and you guide this tent out, it is freestanding, so you can pick it up and you can move it around, which is always a bonus. But as I said, let me know what you think about this tent or budget tents in general. But in saying that, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button for me. It really does help the channel. Also, if you're enjoying these kind of videos, hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification, because what that'll do, that will notify you every time I upload a video. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.